Hi there, I'm Dr. Shannon Subashe with Los Alamos Equine Veterinary Services, and today my assistant Samantha and my horse Taps are going to help us demonstrate how to wrap for an abscess. So you're going to need a couple of things for this. To start with, you're going to need some Epsom salts that you can just pick up from any store, and you're going to need a flat tub to work with, which you can pour water in afterwards. You can also get soaking boots that are made specifically for this, but in a pinch, these feed tubs will work just fine. If it is the first time that you're wrapping your horse's foot and it's a bit dirty, you will also need a hoof pick to make sure that most of the debris has been cleaned out of their hoof before you soak it. After soaking, you will need a towel to dry off the hoof. And then I have two different products that I like to use for abscesses. So one is Magna Paste. It's just a poultice that helps to draw out any infection. The other is Magic Cushion. This is also a great product if your horse has laminitis and you want to try to draw some of the heat or inflammation out of there as well. So you will use one or the other, or a number of other poultice kind of products. In a pinch, you can also just use some betadine solution, which you will mix with some Epsom salts into a paste, and that also works just fine. Next, for the wrap itself, I recommend using size 4 diapers for the average 1,000-pound horse that have these neat little Velcro straps on them. Here we go. And what is nice about them is that when you get your horse's foot down, you can then adjust these straps to whatever tightness that you want. You will follow that diaper with a vet wrap or any kind of elasticon kind of wrap that you have. And finally, we like to reinforce the bottom with duct tape. You can use Gorilla Tape, regular duct tape, just something to decrease the wear of that bandage for the next 24 hours. And then finally, I like to have some exam gloves just for when I'm putting my hand in those various poultices. They can stain or get sticky, and that'll also help keep them clean for future use. So you're going to make a grid to go on the bottom of your horse's foot after you've done soaking and wrapping it. And I like to do kind of a crisscross pattern. You're going to do it about the size of your horse's foot, maybe a little bit larger. And I always use a wall or something so that it's easy to take off afterwards. So I'll do one vertically and then one horizontally. And you'll just keep on alternating back and forth. And you can use whatever you happen to have around. The Gorilla Tape does tend to be very solid, but it is also kind of sticky to work with. And overlap your tape just a bit as you place it down. All right, so that's going to be about good for Taps. Some people really like to additionally cut the corners in a little bit because they feel that that helps them to fold it better. It doesn't seem to make very much difference in my hand, but that's another thing that you can do to make it a little easier. And then you're just gonna let it stay here until you're ready to use it. So I would recommend working on some kind of hard surface, or if you have a mat that you can bring in, that will help you to keep things a little bit cleaner as you work. Then I would also recommend, if this is the first one in a series of wraps that you're doing, that you make sure to actually clean out your horse's foot first. So I'm going to do that first since he's not had a wrap. And you want to make sure it's pretty good because you are going to be trapping all this in the water and under your wrap. So it doesn't have to be perfect, but pretty good. Okay. Next, you're going to do your water. Now for the purposes of this video, we already have the water in the bucket, but you might find it's easier if you put your horse's foot in the bucket before adding water. But before you put your horse's foot in there, you're gonna add in some Epsom salt. So just the same one that you find at the drugstore, and I would recommend somewhere around a cup or two. And then it's over here. Now, you're gonna want him to stand here at least 10 minutes. So it's good to have a friend helping you. You might also give them some food, maybe some hay to eat to occupy them, to try to keep them still. Again, we mentioned earlier, they do make commercial products that are boots that'll actually strap onto your horse's foot and you don't have to worry about them stepping in and out. So after it's been about 10 minutes, you'll want to get your towel. You'll pull this foot out of here. And you're just gonna kind of pat it dry a little bit. And if you have that nice clean mat to put it down, it'll make it a lot easier. Next, you're gonna get your glove on and make sure that everything else is ready to go. And you may find it useful to learn how to hold your horse just like your farrier would doing their shoes. This allows you to have both hands free to work. So how we do that is we pull our horse's leg out. You got to turn your toes in a little bit for this. And then this leaves both hands free to work. So I will not actually pull this out, but you're going to do a pretty good size glop, enough to cover the bottom of the horse's foot here. And then you have your diaper, which you can put right on. Now you can let them put their foot down. Little tricky here. Now make sure that your Velcros are going to come to the front to be secured. Ooh. And if they're stepping on it, you might have to pick their foot up again to get it unstuck. Thank you. There we go. And then can pick that foot up again. Find the end of your vet wrap or equivalent. And I like to start by going around the rim once, because that is where your horse is going to wear through the most, especially if they have shoes on. And then we just kind of keep wrapping all the way around. Okay, then you can let him have another little break while you go get your cover. You'll just get that on there. Go. And then you'll use a couple more strips just to kind of make sure they can't grab any of that vet wrap. Or any of that duct tape, excuse me, duct tape. Right around the front. And there you go. You have a wrap for an abscess.